Friday night at the Horseshoe Tavern, hundreds of people turned out as Teenage Head played one of two special nights saying goodbye to rock and roll at the club. In the past 5 years, since it's changed to rock from country and western, the Horseshoe has been a showcase gig for up-and-coming local talent. But the rock policy hasn't worked in the long run. Attendance has been steadily dropping off, and the building was recently sold. The new owners plan to take it back to its original country format. I asked Teenage Head's Frankie Benham how he felt about the closing.
Seriously, JD, it's Toronto's losing a lot of clubs, and I think it's great that we're the band that's going to close it. And it's tough tonight. And 4 years ago, we did the last Pogo, and that was supposedly an end of an era. Now tonight, this is actually it, and we're proud to do it.
What do you think it is that's causing the clubs to close?
It could be a lack of good bands, and I guess the club owners are putting out too much bucks for a lot of crap.
The Horseshoe is the second rock club in Toronto to close within the space of a week. The other was the Edge, one of the country's leading new wave outlets. In the 3 years since it switched from a folk club, the Edge became known as a showcase for some of the lesser-known, more interesting acts in the international circuit. The promotional team of Gary Topp and Gary Cormier made friends among artists in the music community by taking chances. They weren't afraid to book unproven acts, and they didn't worry about how many tickets were sold. In fact, the Edge never canceled a show because of poor ticket sales. While that wasn't quite good business sense, the Garys got a lot of personal satisfaction in watching some of the bands they took a chance on making it to the top of the charts. A classic example of that was the Police. The last time they were through Toronto, the trio booked their concert at Massey Hall through the Edge, instead of Maple Leaf Gardens through CPI. That was a gesture of thanks for the faith the Garys had shown in the band in the early days.
When we first came to Canada, there was our good old buddy who promoted our concert down in, well, concert, I use the word lightly. It was at a club called the Horseshoe, and there was only about 10 people there who were all from the record company. And the promoter took some chances with us in the early days, and now that we've made it big, we're sticking with him.
The closing of the Edge is only an interim setback in the Toronto new wave scene. In fact, promoter Gary Topp sees it as a step ahead.
In some ways, I'm glad that we get to move locations or try to find a new location. We've had offers. We want a club that we can do a lot more in than just the Edge. I mean, the Edge was great at the beginning because it was 200 capacity, and most of the bands that played there were about 200 capacity. Now we need a a larger room. We need a room where people want to dance.
The Edge had been in financial difficulty for some time. There wasn't much daytime business, and even standing room only nighttime shows like this one with Mink DeVille weren't enough to get the club back in the black. The chances the promoters took were appreciated by both the bands and the fans, but ethics don't pay the bills, and investors were looking for money. The Edge closed on Sunday night with a big party featuring the music of Dick, Duck, and the Dorks, a band that's made up of the bouncers and staff of the club. While there may never be another Edge, the Garys are looking for another location to bring in their eclectic acts from time to time, and they'll continue with their premiere shows at the concert hall.